Have regular wrestling matches at home, and I understand what a difference it makes to people.
Pleasure. Oh Lord, I wouldn't be able to say. Others are going to have to decide that for me.
From every child's heart and replace it with a nightmare.
O que acontece é que no universo só temos redshift. Nós não temos blue shift, né? O que é redshift?
Well, the political spectrum has certainly shifted. Every time I'm asked what I am I centrist, liberal, conservative, my response is always, tell me the issue, I'll tell you where I am, and then you decide, because I'm not going to come out in the same place on every issue. I am.
And why?
It's not, I would have to change the title of my book. It's not my party too anymore, the way it is defined out of Washington today. I'm still an old-fashioned Eisenhower Republican. My first car was actually a 1949 Ford truck. To me, that means that you are someone who will look at all sides of the issue, that you're not afraid of acknowledging there is a role for government to play in helping people and doing what's needed, but you don't want to overuse that. Well, it's always a frustration. But I still think at the end of the day, if you want to get the kinds of solutions to the issues we face, they're going to be right in the center. You have to work across the aisle.
This is one of my most important drills called Find Your Center. It actually goes way back in PE history, and you can find examples of this in modern dance as well.
You have to, if you look at any big program from Social Security to Medicare, Medicaid, to the establishment of the Environmental Protection Agency, they all took bipartisan support, because that's the only way you can get something into the laws that will stay. Well, there's certainly people who would say that, but I don't think you can be too reasonable. It doesn't mean you don't take a position. It doesn't mean you don't have very strong core values, and it doesn't mean that you're not willing to face down criticism. All of that comes with trying to balance things to see what's the best way forward.
Leaning left to right, getting up on their toes a little bit, lifting their heels, and basically getting off center, out of balance, so we can come back to the center. So many times you need to go kind of off center to find the edges or the extremes, and then come back to the middle, or what sometimes is called the sweet spot. From there, we do 3 deep breaths. And I teach my children to breathe through their noses, which is another big issue today with oral fascial health. A lot of kids are mouth breathers, and so teaching them to breathe through their nose is pretty important.
And you know, our founding fathers said this. Benjamin Franklin famously said it when asked what kind of a government that they had given us. He said, a republic if you can keep it. And Abraham Lincoln said, if we lose our democratic republic, it will be from within. And that's what we're facing. I honestly believe that. And I think a second term of Donald Trump will just see a much further, more aggressive undermining of government. I'm terrified of an unbridled second term for Donald Trump, because he'll have nothing to hold him back. He's going to try to go for 4 more years after that. He really thinks he should. He believes, he wants to be a Putin. He wants to be a Kim Jong-un. He likes that authoritarian approach. It's all about him. Everything is about him, not about us. And you can see it in the fact that he directs everything at his base. And yet you're president, as president of the United States, you're president of everyone, not just the people who voted for you. And yet he hasn't seen that. He doesn't care about that. He only cares about throwing the red meat to his base. And that's extremely dangerous, I believe, to the underpinnings of our democracy. Now that's a challenge, because I've been trying for a long time and it doesn't seem to have had a great effect. I think what I do is I point out that every major solution to problems that we've had, to the big problems we've had, has come from the middle. There isn't a Republican Party. There's a Trump Party today, but not a Republican Party. Because you're obviously going to make some people very mad. And it's convenient to say, I'm always going to be liberal, I'm always going to be conservative, or that's why I say you have to give me the issue and I'll tell you where I am, and then you decide whether that's liberal, conservative, or right in the center.